and welcome to our next Torah portion, Coffee with My Friends, and we are looking at this series called The Restoration. And we're looking at how Yeshua is going to be restoring all things back to its proper perspective. And when I talk about the restoration, that includes restoring the land, the people, the temple, and restoring peace by defeating his enemies. So we're going to look into this next Torah portion, so grab a cup of coffee and grab your Bible, and let's start studying. Now this Torah portion, we left off last time we looked at how Miriam developed leprosy. We talked about the trumpets, and what all the different trumpets, the silver trumpets meant, and how that is calling us in the end of days. That will be calling us. Now today what we're going to look at is the 12 spies. Now a lot of people know the story of the 12 spies, how what God did was he had a leader from each of the 12 tribes. They picked someone to go out and spy out the land. And this is Numbers chapter 13, starting verse 1 through 15:41. There's a lot in this Torah portion, but I'm just going to cover the 12 spies because I want to cover it from a different perspective. I'll review the story with you, but then I want to look at the Hebrew meaning of the 12 spies and what that may mean prophetically. Now, 12 spies. We know that there were 12 spies sent off to check out the land. They went into the land, they spied out the land, they saw it was a good land, they had giants there, they brought back giant grapes. It's really cool. But when they came back, there were 10 of the people, the spies, who said, oh, we can't go in there, there's giants, they'll destroy us. And there were 2 who said, we can do this. We can take this land, it's a good land. We can go, we can do it. Now, God was angry with the 10 spies who said that they couldn't do it. And what he did is said, fine, you're not going to go into the land then. All you people who said we can't do it, they made the people angry, they rebelled against Moses, they were going to kill him and go back to Egypt. So God said, fine, none of you who rebel against my command will go into the land. You will stay in the desert, you will wander in the desert for 40 years, and your children who are young, and you said would die, that the giants would kill them, they'll be allowed to go into the land. Except for my 2 leaders who said that this is a good land, and that is Caleb and Joshua. Now, real quickly, we have the slide here of Joshua and Caleb. Joshua is from the tribe of Ephraim. Caleb is from the tribe of Judah. Surprise, we have 2 houses. So we have the house of Ephraim and the house of Judah. And they both said, this is a good land. We can go in, we can take it. So what are we going to see in the end of days? We're going to see the house of Judah, who has gone in already and gone and taken the land. This is a good land for them. They're building it up. They have to fight off their enemies. They are constantly being attacked, but they are in the land. And then in the end of days, Ephraim will be gathered out of the nations, and they will join their brother Judah, and they will establish the 10 tribes, all 12 tribes back in the land, and then God will have restored all 12 tribes. Cool, huh? So let's take a look at this, the 12 spies. Remember in our former Torah portion, we translated the names of the clan members and how interesting it is to look at that in the Hebrew. Well, we're going to translate the name of the 12 spies as well and see what kind of prophetic meaning that might mean for us. So again, this is Numbers chapter 12. And I'm going to start out, chapter 13, Numbers chapter 13. Adonai said to Moshe, send men on your behalf to reconnoiter the land of Canaan, which I am giving to the people of Israel. From each ancestral tribe send someone who is a leader in his tribe. Moshe dispatched them from the Paran desert Adonai had ordered. All of them were leading men, or Nasi, again another word, Nasi, from among the people of Israel. Here are their names. And then it lists all their names. And it tells you the tribe, then it tells you the name of the spy, and who he is the son of. So let's take a look at this. For example, we have the tribe, the first one, Reuben. And what Reuben means, of course, behold a son. The spy's name is Shammua, and from the word Shema, and we know the word Shema means hear and obey. Excuse me, I'm still having this allergy thing. Now, Shammua is a son of Zakur, and that's from the root word Zakar, which means to remember. Now, if you put this all together, you could say, behold a son, hear and remember him. It actually has a meaning. How cool is that? So that's just the first spy. Let's take a look at the next spy. This is from the tribe of Simeon, or Shimon. Shimon means hearing. Again, Shema, that same root word. The spy's name is Shaphat, which means judge. That's one of the words for judge. The son of Hori, which is a hole or a cave. Put that together, and you have, on hearing, he will judge those who are hiding in the hole in the caves. Huh. Now this is the one that, when I first started studying this, sounded really interesting to me, because immediately I went to the book of Revelation. And what do we have after the earthquake of Revelation chapter 6, I believe it is they already began to call out for the rocks to fall on them, and they hid in holes and caves. Kind of interesting. So it's kind of a end time kind of thing. Next one, tribe of Judah. Judah means praised. And now this is Caleb. So Caleb was one of the ones who brought a good report. Caleb, surprisingly, means a dog. Now you might think, a dog? What's up with that? Well, a Gentile would be considered a dog. And there's some of the rabbis believe that Caleb was actually not a natural born out of Judah, but he was a Gentile that was grafted in and joined himself to the tribe of Judah. And that's why they called him Caleb, or a dog. He was considered a Gentile who had been grafted in. I thought that was interesting. So Caleb the dog is the spy. He's the son of Jephunneh, which means prepared or turned. Put that together and you have praise him because he has turned the Gentile dog, the one who he has prepared. Oh, that's actually happening right now. We can praise him because he's turning the Gentile dog, or the Gentiles, out of the nations of the world, those who are not Jewish, and they're the ones who he has prepared. He's prepared us for such a time as this. Again, that looks like a prophetic meaning of what we're seeing right now in the days. This is really fun. I love interpreting the Hebrew. So what I'll do, if you have trouble seeing the screen behind me for this, I'll post these on the website, so you can, I'll put these charts. I'll post the charts so you can pull them up and look at them and study them for yourself too. But let's keep looking, because this is really fun. Next is the tribe of Issachar. The meaning is to bring a reward. The spy's name is Yigal. It means a kinsman redeemer. He's the son of Joseph, or Yosef, which means increase. So we have, he will bring a reward, a kinsman redeemer who will increase you. Again, it's cool. We just keep going. Ephraim is the next tribe. It means double fruit. The spy is Joshua, or Hosea. In the Hebrew is Hosea. It's not, we say Joshua, but it's actually Hosea. That means salvation. And if you think about it, Yeshua is the Aramaic version of Yehoshua, which means Yah is salvation. So you see here, Joshua has the same name as Yeshua. Right now God's calling him Hosea. He changes his name to Yehoshua later on. But for right now it's Hosea, which means salvation. He's the son of Nun, not Nun, Nun, which means life, or to resprout. So we can look at that interpretation. Your double fruit will be Yeshua, the salvation that has resprouted to life. Then we have Benjamin, the tribe of Benjamin, which means son of the right hand. The spy's name is Palti, which means escape. He's the son of Raphu, which means cured or healed. The interpretation of that: the son of the right hand will assist you who escaped and has cured and healed you. Again, these are still sounding like prophetic type end of days things. The tribe of Zebulun, which means to dwell. The spy's name is Gadiel, or El, God, shall troop. Now the idea of troop, what's a troop? A troop would be an army gathering. It will troop together into an army. That's the idea of a troop, a gathering. He's the son of Sodi, which is a secret council. Interpretation: those dwelling with El shall troop together into a secret council. That actually could happen in the end of days as well. If we look at Yeshua coming to restore the land, it's quite possible that it will be through an end-time army. Just saying. They may troop together into an army or a secret council. Think of a war council, maybe. The tribe of Joseph and Manasseh, which means increase. The spy is Gadi. The meaning of that is fortunate, or troop, or attack. He's the son of Susi, which means a horse. And if you've seen my teaching on the four horses of Revelation, you'll understand the meaning of the horse prophetically. The horse oftentimes is connected to the Christian church. One meaning, that's one layer of meaning. So, in the interpretation, he will increase your troop through bringing the horse, or the Jesus, Jesus church. Wow. So we're wondering where maybe, I'm just saying, I'm wondering where America is in the end times. America is a Christian nation. The horse is a military term oftentimes. So if you look at the horse as Jesus or a Jesus church, it's also a nation. It could be a Christian nation, which to me may be America. These are just my interpretations. I'm not going to say I'm right, but I think it's interesting. Then it's the tribe of Dan. It means judge. The spy's name is Amiel. It means the people of God. He's the son of Gamali, which is the camel. Now, interesting enough, we've talked before about how animals have different meanings prophetically, and the camel oftentimes is related to Islam in the Torah. So, Yah will judge the people of God from the people of the camel, which is Islam. And as I've said before, Ephraim, the 10 tribes lost in the nations, is not just in the Christian church. They also are lost in Islam. So those 10 tribes will be brought out of Islam in the end of days as well. And they will come and gather to Yeshua. But God will have to judge them and decide, judge them between the people of God from the people of the camel. That's what that means. The next tribe is Asher. And again, I'm taking this in the order of the book of Numbers, right? This is how it was listed in the book of Numbers. Asher means happy. The spy's name is Satur, which means hidden. He's the son of Michael or Michael, which means who is like God. Interpretation. Happy are those who are hidden, who are like God. Well, what's going to happen in the end of days is he said he will hide some of his people. They'll be hidden from danger. Remember in the book of Revelation, we see the woman in the wilderness who was taken to a place of safety and hidden for the 3.5 years. Same idea. The tribe of Naphtali, which means wrestling. Wrestling. Again, that's an end times term when you're the final wrestling. The spy is Nachbi, which means to continue. The son of Vosvi, which means to hide. So, the interpretation. The wrestling will continue while he will hide you. Okay, he's just talked about people who are hidden, who are like God. And then the wrestling, which is the end of days, is going to continue while he will hide you. So again, we're looking at end time interpretation, end time terminology. Next is the tribe of Gad, which means to attack or invade. The spy is Geuel, which is majesty or triumph in the sense of rising up. The son of Maki, and that means pining. Not quite sure on Maki. They think the closest interpretation is pining. So the interpretation in this would be, the final attack invasion of the majesty will triumph for those who are pining. And I have here for their Yeshua, for their salvation, or maybe pining for the temple. I'm not sure which, but they're people who are pining. Now, after we've gone through this interpretation of the meaning of the names of the spies, the tribe, the spy, and their father, what I did in this is I took this and I thought, what would happen if I put this in the order that was given in the 144,000? So, before we look at this, let's turn to Revelation chapter 7. Keep your place there in Numbers 13. We'll flip over to the book of Revelation, chapter 7. And here we have the 144,000 from every tribe of the people of Israel. And they're listed by tribe. So you have Judah, Reuben, Gad, Asher, Naphtali, Manasseh, Simeon, Levi, Issachar, Zebulun, Joseph, and Benjamin. I noticed that this was a different order, right, than was listed in Numbers chapter 12. But what I did was I took the meaning, the interpretation of the meaning of these names of the 12 spies, and I reordered it in the number of the tribes of the 144,000. Now, why did I do that? I was curious. I just wanted to see if it would mean anything. Also, you notice that it starts out in chapter 7 of Revelation. After this, I saw 4 angels standing at the 4 corners of the earth, holding back the 4 winds of the earth, Now the four winds are always mentioned in the prophets and in Torah. The four winds are going to be released to bring all 12 tribes back into the land. That's what the four winds are for. That's their purpose. So the angels are about to release the four winds to gather all 12 tribes back into the land. Right? So we know this is an end time, second Exodus scenario that's going on right here. Verse 2, I saw another angel coming up from the east with a seal from the living God. He shouted to the four angels who had been given power to harm the land and the sea, do not harm the land or sea or the trees until we have sealed the servants of our God on their foreheads. I heard how many were sealed, 144,000 from every tribe of the people of Israel. Now, you can't really find 144,000 in the Old Testament at all. That number really is not used. However, 12,000 is. 12,000 from each tribe. It goes on to list 12,000 from each tribe in a specific order. 12,000 is used in reference to either the 12,000 or a derivative of 12,000 like 24,000, 48,000. Those numbers are derivatives of 12,000. Those are used, however, in setting up leadership. Oftentimes an army leadership. And we'll see that when we go forward here. In a couple of weeks, we'll look at the story of Pinchas and how he was the captain of the guard, guarding the tabernacle, and he developed an army of 12,000. All right, that's the first time you see that 12,000. But anyway, it oftentimes references this to leadership or to army leadership. So my question is, could this structuring here, this whole section here, be God setting up a leadership in the wilderness in preparation for releasing the four winds and gathering all 12 tribes back in? That's something maybe that's a scenario I want to put out there. I could be wrong. I could be right. It's one of those things we'll have to wait and see. But now I would like to take the interpretations of the 12 tribes that we just went through, and I want to put them in the order of the tribes of Revelation chapter 7. So I'm not going to go through each tribe again, but understand that this starts out with Judah and goes through each of these tribes in Revelation 7. I'm just going to go through the interpretation. Let's see if we can have a order of events at the end of days. 144,000. Praise him, because he has turned the Gentile dog, the one whom he has prepared. That's actually happening right now. Behold a son, hear and remember him. We're supposed to behold the Son of God, Yeshua. We're supposed to hear, remember him, hear and obey. Shema and Zakar, hear and remember. The attack or invasion will triumph against those who are pining, possibly for the temple, possibly for their salvation. So apparently there's some kind of an attack or invasion. But happy are those who are hidden, who are like God. He begins to hide his people. Now the wrestling will continue while he will hide you. So we can see there's some kind of an attack. God hides his people, and then the wrestling will continue. Some are hidden, but I believe that some will be a part of the end-time army. He will cause you to forget your trouble, labor, toil, and will troop through bringing the horse. And I believe that would be the Jesus or the Jesus church, the Christian church, or the Christian nation that will come to Israel's defense in the end of days. Now, during this time period, Yah will judge the people of God from the people of the camel. Again, once God releases the four winds and gathers the 10 tribes or the house of Ephraim out of the nations, it will include Islam. There will be people in Islam who will wake up, and they will come and they will join to their brothers Judah. So he's going to have to judge the people of God from the people of the camel. Are they true? Will they follow Torah, or are they still people of the camel? That's what judge means, dividing between the two. Next, on hearing, he will judge those who are hiding in the holes and caves. So apparently people are hiding in the holes and caves, just like the book of Revelation says. And we're there. We're right here. So we'll just go up to the verse right above it. It says, this is chapter 6, verse 15, then the earth's kings, the rulers, the generals, the rich and the mighty, indeed everyone slave and free, hid himself in caves and among the rocks and the mountains, and said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us and hide us. So, he will judge those who are hiding in the holes and caves. That's one of the things he will judge. He will judge the leaders of the nations. What happens next? The Levitical priesthood has been attached to you. This, I believe, this was the first time I saw that Yeshua would reinstitute the Levitical priesthood, and he will turn over his Melchizedek priesthood, lay it down, and then he will turn it back to the Levites again, and they will begin ministering here on the earth. Then he will bring a reward, a kinsman redeemer who will increase you. Who's our kinsman redeemer but Yeshua? And he will increase us. He will increase our numbers. He will increase our abilities, our strength. So in the end of days, he will increase us. Now, those dwelling with El, or God, shall troop together into a secret council. So if there is an end of days battle against God's enemies, it will be a gathering that will come and fight against the enemies of Israel who have conquered Jerusalem and maybe divided the land. That's quite possible. I know a lot of that is one of the main things that the United Nations is trying to do, is divide the land and create a Palestinian state and take the East Jerusalem away from Israel or the Jewish people and give it to their enemies, or give it to the Arabs. Basically, is what they're trying to do. When that happens, that's encroachment on the holy place, and it triggers a lawsuit, and God will have to release his Messiah to come and gain back the land and gain back the Temple Mount. So, to me, you can also look at the book of Daniel. You have the king of the north, the king of the south, where you have a battle for the end of days. There's so many places, so many stories in the Torah and in the Old Testament that they're like prefiguring. They're like a type and shadow of Messiah coming in the end of days and bringing in an end time battle and regaining the land, reestablishing the people, regaining the Temple Mount, rebuilding the temple. It's not magical, guys. There actually has to be boots on the ground, people doing this, led by Messiah. We have to get out of our idea of the magical thinking, where Jesus is going to magically just wave his magic wand, or something comes out of his mouth and it all magically happens. Nothing is magical in the Old Testament. Everything was practical. It was on the boots on the ground. And I'm proposing that this end of day scenario will also be boots on the ground, and we'll be a part of that. So get back to where this is. So the Levitical priesthood has been attached to you. He will bring a reward, a kinsman redeemer who will increase you. Those dwelling with El shall troop together into a secret council, an end time special meeting of the leadership. And then again, it comes up again. He will increase your troop through bringing the horse, the Jesus Church. So the cavalry rides to the rescue again. It seems like a second wave comes to support the people in the end of days. And then the son of the right hand will heal you who escaped. People will be escaping out of the clutches of the Antichrist, and he will begin to heal those who have escaped and who have won their final triumph. So, if this is true, and this is an order of events for the end times, the next thing we have to see is what is going to kick off this order of events? What will happen in the end of days that will kick this all off? Because this will not happen. It won't take us unawares unless the only people who will be unaware of the beginning of the end of days will be those who don't understand the feasts, they don't understand the Torah, they don't understand Hebraic thought, repetitive events. They'll be asleep at the wheel, basically. If you know what to look for by understanding the stories of the Old Testament, understanding the book of Numbers, understanding the prophets, we'll know what to look for. And we'll know there will be an event. God will not start this without us knowing what kicks it off. What will kick off these events? Look at this next slide. God has promised us he will send a sign to watch for. The sign is a banner. The word in Hebrew is nes or nisi. Remember Jehovah our banner, Jehovah Nisi our banner? A banner is a signal, a sign. It's like running a flag up a flagpole. It's waving a banner. It's a signal. We won't miss it. He said that he will send a Nisi so that we won't miss it. What will that Nisi be? Well, we'll study that in our next teaching, which is the rebellion of Korah, which I believe is the Nisi, or signal, to let us know when the end of days is going to kick off, and Yeshua will come as Messiah to redeem the land and redeem the people. So join us next in our next teaching when we look at the story of Korah and see what that Nisi banner is. Hope you enjoyed this Torah teaching. If you have any questions, you can always email me. But take a look at these and really consider that by understanding the Hebrew and the 12 spies, we may actually be looking at a hidden meaning of an order of events in the end of days. So till next time, shalom.